Welcome back, everyone. LanceScurvX here, the Scurv podcast. I'm on a roll. Speaking about different topics for me has always been fun. Long before I knew what social media was. I mean, the conversations that I would have with my parents from single-digit ages, very intelligent conversations, especially about human nature and psychology and spiritual warfare. That's always been something that I love to talk about. And coming up as a young teenager, as an older teenager, and into my adult years, I realized how much my parents and those who were around us in their inner circle gave me. It's almost like you see a person like Floyd Mayweather. Now, we know he has money issues now. We know he has other issues. And they were very foolish issues for him to spend so much money, right? But on the flip side of that, there's a point that I want to drive home, that when he was younger, his father was a fighter, two uncles were fighters. I'm not sure if there's any more. And he had family issues, but the gym became his refuge. And from maybe 5 years old, I think there was a clip of him throwing punches and his father behind him before the father went to prison. The father actually fought Sugar Ray Leonard in the late 70s. And I remember watching that fight as a teenager. But Floyd Mayweather came up and he was so used to the slight nuances of the art of boxing, fighting. There's so much to it. It's not just two guys throwing punches. On the lower level, it might be. But when you get to a certain level, it's the little things. And if you're a true fan of boxing and know enough about it, you can appreciate the little things that a championship level fighter would do. This is not a barroom brawl. What I mean to say is that Floyd Mayweather was brought up in an atmosphere from very young. And although his mistakes financially came back to bite him, nobody can doubt that he was a master in the ring. Was he the greatest fighter in the world? I don't think so. But he deserves some merit for what he's done. Those of us who know boxing know that, I won't even go there, but there are other fighters who are greater than him, even though he has an undefeated record. But comparing that to many others, and I include myself in this, when you come up in an atmosphere where you're taught how to read body language, you're taught how to listen to how somebody communicates to you, you're taught to read expressions, even if they're micro expressions. That's my forte. This is why when I draw an illustration, it's the little things and the details that I put in that tell the whole story. So in life, I've seen this time and time again. You have individuals who are totally confident, but many will try to make it appear that they are cocky and stuck up on themselves. I'll tell you this. You never have to apologize for the confidence that you have in your abilities, in what you know, in what you can actually execute. When Muhammad Ali, then known as Cassius Clay, was coming up through the ranks, they thought he was another loudmouth fighter who bit off more than he can chew when he fought Sonny Liston for the championship. But they saw different after a while. And as the years rolled on, they said, hey, wait a second. This guy's the real thing. But guess what? He lost 3.5 years of his peak years in fighting because he refused to go to war in Vietnam because it went against his beliefs. So many people who did not like him, right? They were overjoyed. They said he was through. They said he was done. But he came back in 1970 to fight Jerry Quarry and then eventually Joe Frazier. He lost to Joe Frazier. But most believe that if he had continued fighting and didn't have the layoff and took a little time before he came back to fight Joe Frazier, then that would be turned around. That wouldn't have happened, the loss. He fought Joe Frazier in 2 more tough fights and won. Why am I saying all this? Is this a boxing class? No. Boxing to me is one of my favorite sports, and it really exemplifies the character of an individual. Sure, you're getting punches thrown at you. Sure, you have to live discipline. You have to train. You have to be or live a Spartan life. But when you're a fighter, and really any fighter that climbs into the ring, you have to take your hat off to them, because in their mind, they're going to win. There's no room for doubt. It's admired in sports. And sometimes teams go against other teams, and each team has individual players in it that feel confident that they're going to win when it's sports. But when it's real life, not that that's not real life, because training is hard and living that life is hard. But in real life, everyday life, when you move amongst the people, other humans, when you have confidence, it bothers them sometimes. Because most people, from what I've learned, they don't have the confidence in themselves. And you having confidence and they not having confidence in their ability, or their ability to be a visionary and see the next level of their existence and manifest it and make it real and make it happen, that irks a lot of people. It's evident to me when you see so many people say, oh, when I hit the lottery, I'm going to buy that dream house. When I hit the lottery, I'm going to get that Rolls Royce or that Bentley. When I hit the lottery, I'm going to leave America and go somewhere else where there's less stress. When you hit the lottery. I'm not trying to be negative to anybody, but do you realize the odds of you winning the lottery? So we stay in a life of mediocrity, and our only hope is hitting the lottery. The way I was taught, and I wasn't taught in these same exact words, but I'm going to translate it for you. I am my lottery. Even if I don't have $10 million in the bank account, I know that everything that you see that's created by man was a thought at first. Because you can give a fool lots of money and they'll piddle it off and lose it. So it's not the money. It's what you can achieve in your mind first. You can conceive it, you can achieve it. Simple as that. It may take a little longer than if you had a lump sum of millions of dollars, but if you have millions of dollars and no proper thoughts to manifest something concrete, it's like water falling through your fingers. And really, do you need millions to make a dream come true? I know that you don't need that. In this system, you do need funds, yes. But you can, like I say all the time, you can window shop while you're broke. Meaning, That even if you don't have the money to purchase the things that you need to purchase, not just the things that you want, you can still go and look and try things on. So when you do have the money to make the purchase, you go into the store, boop, 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 that's what I want, I'm out. So we have to think first. And we have so many people who live a life of mediocrity, and they're watching. Oh, who he think he is? You no good no more. You can't make it. You can't win again. Watch. But me personally, that's been my whole life, making people realize, and I'm saying this humbly, I'm a champion. You can realize that you're a champion also if you rewire how this system has us thinking about ourselves. I'm here, but I'm independent. And I thought about independence for many decades. And when it came time to manifest my dreams, it was like I went into that store and window shop when I was broke, because when it came time to execute the moves, boom, folks don't know what hit them. And even with the subsequent obstacles, the subsequent backstabbing, that made the victory even sweeter, because you can't stop me. And that's not an egotistical thing. It's just that I understand the process of creation, creating your reality, the reality that you want. And you can't relegate yourself to a life of mediocre thinking and expect to have champion results. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So many of us, after a time, we're beat down by the system and we just give up. But we do have energy to try to throw off on somebody, because that only shows that there are people who lack the confidence in themselves. Because me being confident, when I see confidence in someone else, determination in someone else, discipline in someone else, it's just a matter of time before they make it. There's a couple that I know that have been married for 35 years. And the brother I have a few years on him. And I remember when he was a young boy. He's a grown man now, of course. But he was always a good guy. And he was always a visionary. I remember one day we hopped in my car and we drove around Queens. And we weren't going anywhere specifically, but we drove around some of the poor areas. We drove around some of the rich areas or wealthy, affluent areas. We also happened to drive, as a footnote, around the neighborhood that Donald Trump grew up in, Jamaica Estates, right above Hillside Avenue near Wexford Terrace. I don't know exactly the exact house, but I know it's in that area. And we spent the whole afternoon projecting to the future, goodness, positivity. And even then I knew that this brother would be successful. So now I want to congratulate you, Brother Barry and Sister Crystal, on 35 years of marriage. And the both of you have done so much. And if I looked at him as a young man and tried to discourage or beat down his confidence, which I couldn't, it's a powerful brother. I couldn't, because I know the feeling of those who have a mindset of mediocrity, and that's pretty much all they'll ever do. And this is why with people who you don't know the content of their heart, You can't tell them your plans all the time because they'll get next to you to try to make sure that it doesn't happen. Keep your lips sealed and work on yourself. Work on your goals. Work on your aspirations. Don't let anybody get into your head because that's all they're trying to do, to short circuit you because they see you rising again. And that bothers them as they sit there like a stalled car on the side of the highway while everybody zooms by. And they don't like it because they haven't figured themselves out. They haven't worked on themselves. And just like I spoke on the video yesterday about relationship discernment, that before you jump into a relationship with anybody, you better heal yourself. You better be ready for that relationship. If you open a restaurant, you can't have it filthy, the food not cooked, no order, and let people on in. They'll look around and say, wait a second, you're still painting the ceiling? You haven't swept the floors? There's all types of chemicals around, or you're still building this place. You gotta be ready. And you gotta be ready when opportunity knocks. Today, in my incremental construction project that you can see behind me, this is not some kind of green screen effect, right? This was a thought at one time. This whole place, this one little studio. I'm proud of it, but I'm not just staying there. Every time I step into this to realize that it didn't exist at one time. When I walked on this land and it was nothing but bushes, thick. All you can do is look at the general area, but you couldn't walk through it. But now, the views, the tranquility, the peace, it all happened here first. This was built before the first stone was laid. And this is just a warm-up. This is what feeds me, because you have to enjoy and extract from your prior victories. So the higher up you go, and we're not talking about higher up in man's order, but the Creator's order is so much higher than what man would give you, man's system of oppression. And it's so sad that those who are so caught up in it and haven't freed themselves yet or freed their minds yet are angry at you for being free and not on the plantation in any way anymore, enjoying every single day that the Creator gives. But they're stuck and they're mad at you. So what do you expect? They're going to say things to you. They're going to have double-sided meaning things or hide behind a profile and say something to you or whatever. And that's confirmation that folks see your greatness. You might be a young student. You might be a single woman who's trying to purchase a house and people are just on you that you can't do it without saying it. You might be a person who is recuperating and you're out of rehab and you're beating an addiction, whatever it may be. There are people who are going to want to pull you back. Really? They're not trying to pull themselves up. They're grabbing you to pull you back so they can clap and feel good of being mediocre. See, the Creator didn't create anybody to be mediocre. We all have talents, gifts, and abilities. But when you don't look within and you're looking outside, mad at somebody else who looked within themselves and manifested it and not even believe in the laws. They know in the laws how to manifest the life they want to live, the way they want to live, right? When you know these things, it's child's play. Even when you face obstacles and setbacks, You pick your teeth with it because you know the principles. And it may take time, but you'll know. See, I always say this, and I always give thanks to my parents that the Creator gave me, because they created a champion in me from very, very, very young. I have the determination of that bug who's trying to land in your plate, and you keep waving it away, but he keeps on coming. After you finish the plate, you don't mind what drops in it, right? But discipline, hard work, focus. Like a horse that has the blinders on it or put on it. It can't see left, it can't see right. It doesn't even care because it can't see it. I had so many mighty, wonderful thoughts today. And even through the conversations that I had with total strangers in passing, I realized that that wasn't by chance. See, when you have a certain mindset for positivity, for building, for getting better each day incrementally, it draws other energies to you, positive energies. And it may not be somebody you've known for years. It could be that too. But these people see the light that you have. They ask you, who are you? You're somebody. Now, we know everybody was made to be somebody, but most people don't carry themselves that way because they're assessing themselves on the social media status. Well, I don't have the new car yet. I don't have the big house yet. I don't have all of the money yet. I don't have the women, the BBL yet. Or what? It comes from the inside. How dare you insult the Creator when you're rating something so low on man's level, when he has greatness inside of you? And you're not supposed to apologize for having that. Well, one thing, don't let anybody interfere with the process that you have going on in your mind, in your soul, in your spirit. You hold on to that real tight and you protect it for all it's worth. And you keep these entities around you, and they will scream and get angry when you build up the boundaries to keep them away from you because they want to have access. They want to have access into your thinking. They want to guide your thinking. They think they can guide your thinking. You can try me all you want, but if my mind is set on this, nothing's going to change. As long as I know that that is good for me. You see what I mean? But it's amazing. In my unofficial, I'll say, because people can say, well, you don't have a degree in this and you don't have a degree in that. I don't have to. I don't have to. Watch how I navigate. And it's like those people who have studied a certain area of expertise for a very long time, all their life. You don't have to prove to anybody that you have a piece of paper, and I'm not against that. And I've said this before, and I'm going to tell this story again. In parting, I don't have to boast about anything. Watch my works. Watch what we do. Don't waste time trying to convince people what you know you have inside of you. Because, see, they know it deep down inside. And this is why they work so hard to come against you. So that's confirmation. See, let's just call it Satan, the negative energies. Christians call it the devil. We negative energy. It never comes at the people that it already has defeated. It only comes at the people who are on an upward trajectory toward the next victory. See? They don't pick losers. Your hater cheering squad only goes after winners. And they'll be very disappointed when they can't take you down. I get a sick kick out of it. It's not sick, it's righteous. That's the way it's supposed to be. Because you don't have to say a damn thing. Watch. See? There are many people who try to say that, oh, and I remember this quite well. I came out here on a visit for 3 weeks in 2019. Everybody, wow, yes, yes, yes. But when folks found out that I moved out here permanently, zip, folks were mad. And it was so funny because 2 weeks before we left to come out here permanently, there were people in my chat or in the comment section, oh, I bet you he don't even have enough money to move out there for a ticket, much less go out there and live. What are you gonna do? I'm like, okay, I know what I'm gonna do. The structures are built already here. It's a matter of connecting the dots. You have to be this sure of yourself, but it doesn't come easy. You have to have yourself trained. You have to have that tunnel vision. You got to have that focus. You got to have that discipline, and you got to have that drive, and you got to be willing to sacrifice. That's something that many people don't want to do. They don't want to sacrifice. So when it comes time for folks to see what you have manifested, they can only be silent. You have shut them up. And it's not really about them anyway. But I wanted to address this because there are younger folks that they may not be as sure-footed. They know the right thing, but they're still affected by the noise around them. No. You hear it, but you're not listening to it. You can hear music in a car going down the street, and you hear music, but you're not sitting there listening to the words. 24 hours in a day is a long, long time. And it's even longer where you don't have any distractions. When you live in a righteous solitude, it's like it's 48 hours, really. You take your time and you do what you do. And from artwork, and that was another discipline that got to me when I focus on whatever and I don't hear anything else. That's the main thing. Most people are led astray by stray thoughts that are just out in the universe, and it takes them here, and then they go here for 5 hours, and they go there for 10 hours or so many days, and they change religions, and they change the way they think and what they say and what they think they believe. They're not sure of themselves. So of course, here you go, trudging along, even if it's at a slow pace. After a while, it's like, you've been sticking to it. You're getting there. And then they look in the mirror, they look at themselves, and they realize that their mind has been all over the place. They're going to hate on you. Put up that boundary. Keep them away from you. A person can want to fight you, but as long as they're across the street, they can't hit you. If you're out of range from me, you can't touch me. That's the physical thing. So they come with the words, the smear campaigns, the gossip, the this. Have fun. Enjoy the show. I wasn't made to be a spectator. I was made to reflect the greatness of the Creator, and so are you. So if you're looking at this and saying, damn Lance, who does he think he is? I'm a child of the Creator, and I'm here to reflect that light. And there's not a damn thing you can do. You might think you do something for a while, but you can't stop it. You're unstoppable. That's like looking up at the sun and saying, I'm gonna blow away that sun. You go ahead and blow until you get dizzy. Because when you have mental, spiritual, and emotional momentum, only greatness can come, and it can't be denied. Anyway, I want to thank you for listening to this far. We have some other work that we have going up, and I had a long day. I can't believe I'm still on the float right now, but that's that momentum. That's that focus. Whatever it is that you do, even if you, and I say this to my dear sister, who I call Custom Auto. She's my life coach. I tell it to her all the time. Some days you have 100% energy. You're moving, you're booming, you're doing everything. And then the next day it might be 60% of that 100 that you have. Don't fret because it's 60%. Use 100% of that 60%. If it's only 5%, use 100% of that 5%. There's some days you'll be 150%, but whatever the percentage of your energy, drive, focus, and discipline is, whatever percentage it is, use 100% of it and live in balance. But nothing is supposed to stop you from getting a good meal for the day, a good night's sleep, time with yourself to focus and recalibrate if you have to. Nothing should stop you from that. There's nothing that's going to have me up at night. Oh, this person said this. And, no. You probably don't know me if you think I'm that wimpy. It ain't going to happen. Anyway, I hope you got something out of this. I'll be back tomorrow with another message, and we're going to write some more stuff. And I have another video to speak on. And it's always good. I love sharing my thoughts this way. And I hope I can encourage you and help you to, I'm not going to say find yourself like I'm somebody who's this big person to worship. No, but whatever little tidbits I have, I'll share them. If you have the right mind, you'll say, hey, there might be something with this. Let me try it out. If you have a wicked mind that you're pissed that you're living a life of mediocrity, you're not going to like it. But there's one more thing I want to say, right? The illustration that I saw today, I want to talk about that. It was an animation, actually, but it wasn't moving too much. I got to see if I could find it and put the link down in the description area. I saw it today, so I may have to go back a bit. It was a man who was standing on the edge of a cliff. And there was a wheel that he had that had a chain on it. And it was hanging over the cliff. So he was turning this chain going this way, right? Now, a few feet down, it was like a ladder or the chain that somebody was pulling himself up on. But he didn't realize that the man who was turning the wheel was keeping the chain going so that every time the man on the bottom tried to pull himself up, he wasn't getting anywhere. And on the side of the wheel that had the chain was a clock, and the clock was moving. See? So this person was like the head boss or CEO of a company, and he was getting all of the work out of the person who was trying to climb the ladder and climb up. And so he was turning the wheel against them, representing the system, but the time was moving on. How many of us feel in this life that no matter how much overtime we put in, no matter how much we push to get more money, and sometimes we do feel it sometimes, but it's snatched away, that after a time we figuring out, like, wait a second, I'm not getting anywhere. And I'm not saying this to be negative. I'm saying that we need to take a step back and really see how the system is taking our energy for somebody else's benefit. And I'll leave on that. Leave your comments, negative or positive. It's all good. Thank you for watching. LanceScurv out. On to the next one. Peace.